Everyone is jumping on the AI gold rush. OpenAI just announced monetization for the GPT store. Young Chuck thinks that this is his opportunity to make easy money. But the last Codebender sees something different. He knows that the people who truly make money in a gold rush are not the gold miners, it's someone else. So he tries a different strategy. Millions of dollars are going to be made on the GPT store over the next few months. It's the new gold rush in AI. But for who? Who are the people who will actually make money in this gold rush? I believe it's actually all a facade. The only ones who will actually make money is OpenAI. You don't believe me? Well, let me explain. Let's take a case study. Grimoire GPT. That's the most popular GPT out there. It's number one. It's like number one or two depending on the days. Some days number two, there's like a competition for the number one spot. It has had 200,000 chats over the past 2 months. So roughly 2 months. So let's look at the math. Let's imagine a few monetization scenarios. Let's assume that the revenue share is similar to what YouTube and Spotify is doing, which means that you're paid per conversations, right? So as YouTube does it, you have an RPM, which is revenue per mil. So YouTube pays per 1,000 of views. Let's say that ChatGPT is going to do something similar. For every 1,000 conversations, you're going to be paid a certain amount. Let's assume it's roughly $1 per 1,000 conversation. 200,000 conversations for Grimoire over the past 2 months. That's just $200. That's it. But okay, let's say we're more generous than this. Let's say they're going to give $10, like 10 times more for 1,000 conversations, which is crazy. They're never going to do this, but let's say for the sake of the argument, that's still only $1,000 per month. And that's for the most popular GPT out there. The number one guy will be earning $1,000 per month maximum. This is just some simple math prediction. And on top of it, what you have to consider is that the barrier to entry is so low that means that the competition is going to be brutal. People will be fighting essentially for scraps, for nothing. And something that you always have to think about when the competition is brutal is how can you stand out? I keep repeating this on my channel. It's the same thing in the job market. When the job market in tech is brutal for software engineers, you always need to figure out how can you stand out from the pack? How can you stand out from the crowd? Because those who stand out usually always reap all the rewards. Here, to stand out in the GPT gladiator arena, what you need is a combination of a few different factors. Number one, you need private, unique data that other people don't have access to. That's how you can stand out. Number two, maybe you have an external API service that is proprietary or valuable that again, other people don't have access to. And this is going to give you an advantage because your GPT is going to be more performant for the niche that you're in. And number three, a way that you can stand out is if you have distribution. Typically, if you're a creator who has 1 million followers, for example, you launch a custom GPT for whatever it is that your channel or service is offering. Obviously, all your fans are going to go there and use that one. So you're going to get hundreds of thousands of conversations, right? Like if Mr. Beast creates something, for example, you can be sure that's going to be the number one in the GPT store. But same way as a brand can do it, right? If Netflix creates something like this, if like any brand does it that has distribution, that's how they can stand out as well. But on top of it, if it's brands, they also have data, they also have like external APIs. So they can truly stand out. The issue is that most of you guys watching this, you actually don't have any of those three things. Unfortunately, that's the case. So you have to think, what can you do then? Is there like any way you can make money through this? Well, actually there is a way. The true way to make money in this GPT store, like quote unquote gold rush, is if you build custom GPTs as a service for businesses. And the reason is that they have the data, they have private APIs, they have the distribution, but most importantly, they have the money to pay you for that service. And that's where I believe the most amount of money for regular people, regular developers, that's where the bulk of the money is going to be made. I think a simple strategy that you can use for this is you focus number one on small niches, right? So you need a niche for who are you going to target. Do you target small businesses, coaches, personal trainers, content creators? Who are you going to create those custom GPTs for? Once you figure out that niche, you're going to figure out like which is the most hardcore, painful problems that they have that they're ready to pay for and that you can solve with a custom GPT. And finally, you're going to add custom actions so that you elevate the value proposition of your GPT. Instead of just having like a dumb GPT that answers questions, you have a GPT that can perform tasks and actions. Like you can hook it up to Zapier Actions, for example, and you can do things like send emails based on like triggers of something that a user does. It sends emails, creates reports, and creates a bunch of different things, add someone to a database, etc. To create a custom GPT, it's very simple. You go to chat.openai.com/GPT/editor. You can also access it directly from your GPT interface, like on ChatGPT. There's a button for it. You choose a title. Just pay attention to not using anything that's copyrighted. Like don't use, for example, YouTube thumbnail maker, because YouTube, that keyword is copyrighted. So use something else. The description, also like just provide like a simple description for what it is. You're going to provide instructions right here. I'm going to share in the next slide actually like a interesting finding that I made related to instructions. Then you're going to upload custom data. That's the interesting part. And then you're gonna have actions is basically just calls to external APIs that can perform some specific actions. And ideally you add that to your GPT to, again, stand out compared to other people who don't have it. It's all about competition and standing out in the market. This is a very interesting finding that I made. Take this with a grain of salt because I'm not sure how accurate it is, but I found this in some mysterious GitHub repo. It's allegedly the instructions that were used to create Grimoire GPT, which is the #1 GPT on the market. Check it out, there's this link. It's very interesting actually because it's a pretty long set of instructions with a lot of different steps. So as you create your custom GPTs, take inspiration from it to create them, but then add, like, upload a knowledge file. The knowledge file can literally be just text, right? It can be like a PDF, it can be straight up text. Like GPT is able to analyze that type of data, so you're good there. So in summary, pay attention to the gold rush. Don't just get trapped by hype. Think where the money truly is. And when everyone is jumping for the gold rush, the money might actually be somewhere else that you're not thinking about. Now, for some of you who want to go to the next level and you don't want to just build some custom GPTs, you actually want to build standalone AI apps that have a lot more potential to be turned into a real business that makes money. I'm launching my AI bootcamp very soon and you can pre-order access right now. You're gonna get a big discount and you're gonna learn how to build apps like these. I'm gonna give you a list of 10 different AI projects ideas that you can build to help you stand out in the market and create very cool AI applications. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about this gold rush, if I'm completely wrong with my predictions or not. And if you're curious to know what will be the most in-demand tech job in the market for the decade to come, check out this video right here. And a little hint, it's related to AI.